All right, everybody, welcome back to the Cain Stevens Super Show. I am your former host, Cain Stevens, and this is a special show. All right, this show's been hijacked. It's been we decided to do a wrestling podcast because I love wrestling. So a little bonus content here with my boy Kris from the Elegant Southwest. Look at that beautiful beard. And
Hold on, I'm going to stop you right here. It's not Kris, it's Gustaf. Get it right.
I forgot. Well, my new alter ego is
Uh,
El Podcastico.
oh,
Uh,
okay.
I'm ready to roll. I got the Ultimate Warrior bike streamers on. I got the mask. I'm ready to go. I'm the belt collector. I've got my championship belts here. I'm ready to roll, Kris. How are you?
Gotcha. I'm good, Kane. I'm good. It's been kind of a rocky morning for both of us, but we're here. We're doing this. Let's go.
Every morning is, man. Well, we're gonna make ourselves feel a little better here, and hopefully some people out there. We're gonna talk some wrestling here. We're gonna talk about the Royal Rumble in particular.
Okay.
So I know you watched it. I watched it
Yeah.
as well. I've turned it into kind of a family I can't believe it happened. Like, my family's so weird with my kids and though the stuff they'll like and what they don't, but they seem to like everything I like. And so I somehow 2 years ago pushed the Royal Rumble on them and everybody got hooked. And so now it's like a thing, like this year I got to introduce it to my oldest daughter and she got hooked on it. And so it's like, I mean, what does the Royal Rumble mean to you, man? It means everything to me.
It's my favorite pay-per-view out of them all. I don't really care about WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Survivor Series used to be good back in the 80s. I'm like, King of the Ring, not as much. I miss the in your house pay-per-views that they used to do, but the Royal Rumble is and always has been my favorite pay-per-view.
When Corbin won the King of the Ring and they called him King Corbin for forever, I literally wanted to puke, like that's not my king. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We've seen some great ones over the past, I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
Stone Cold, Bret
Oh,
Hart,
I was just gonna say the Stone Cold one that made Stone Cold Stone Cold. Cold, you know what I mean? When
Zach.
he cut that promo on Jake the Snake about the 316 and all that jazz.
Yeah.
So
So
that
what
was
do you
fun.
think of if you had to rate it, let's just go one to five, five being the best. What would you say this Rumble was this year?
I mean, it's like a 2.5, 3.
Mhm.
Like there was only 4 matches on the card, so it was a kind of a short. Well, it was still a 3.5 hour pay-per-view,
Yeah.
but it was a shorter pay-per-view. And though the women's rumble, hands down, was the best match. Period.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like hands down. Like I said, it was probably about a 2.5, 3 at the most. It was. I wish it would have just done a little bit more with certain storylines, like that 4-way match that was in there. I wish they would have done something different with it. It
Yeah.
was boring,
It was
but
the
yeah,
match, right? Like it shouldn't be the worst match for the championship
no,
or
absolutely not.
four-way. I mean, it was the worst match of the night. Like, how is that even possible?
Yeah, and I understand with the Royal Rumble, since you have this two basically bookend matches that will carry the whole pay-per-view. That's going to be your focus of your pay-per-view. I understand that, but it
Yeah,
doesn't mean the other two matches that were on the card had to be crap.
right.
Like the Kevin Owens one was like I understand where they were going with it. I saw where they were going with it. It's just it didn't like I kind of fast forwarded it because I tried to get through it the first night it was on. Unfortunately, I'm old and I fell asleep within 15, 20 minutes of when it was on, so I had to watch it the next day.
Yeah,
But it's just like I kind of fast forwarded just to see some of the highlights. I was like, I'm good. I'm good.
man. Well, let's talk about the matches. Okay, so they start off with the women's rumble, right? And the women, which is a strong start, right? I mean, who doesn't? I mean, it's not like the Divas era. Like these are all good-looking girls, but they're all great wrestlers now too.
Oh, 100%,
Back in
100%.
the day, it was just take some clothes off, look good. They're all in tears in the ring because they don't really want to do it. And Vince is making them do all this stuff. And now it's different. Like it's a real match, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. They had some really good competitors now. They actually, what I would never thought I would see, they actually brought in talent from other organizations.
Yeah.
Usually, like the only ever time I've ever seen that happen was with ECW way back in the day. They were kind of borrowing talent.
Right.
But this was it. They brought in some wrestlers from TNA, which
Yeah.
is what total nonstop action. They brought their champion in. She was in early. She actually looked really good in ring with the other ones, but overall, it was like I said, it was a pretty solid match. Like
Yeah.
there was like there were some things that happened, like with the Jade Cargill appearance for the first time, and
Yeah.
her going off against that powerhouse Nia Jax and holding her own, and Nia made her look real strong, like just made her look like $1,000,000, even though she's green. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Well, yeah, she's still in training, but those were some big appearances. Like, and I mean, with the TNA champion, it's Jordan Grace, right? Is that
Mhm. Yeah,
she,
yeah, if I'm not
she
mistaken.
was phenomenal. Like, she looked like she belonged in the WWE
Yeah,
ring. She was really good.
100%. And it's there are times when wrestlers come over from some of the smaller organizations to the WWE, they will get kind of shell shocked and not know what to do. She fit right in.
Yeah.
I can see her in the next couple of years making the transition over.
Yeah.
I don't know how long her contract's there for, but I could definitely see her going on and being in the WWE. So
Do you think that this will be the new TNA pipeline, so to speak? It's cool if it is because I mean, why not, right? Why not want to pair up with the WWE?
oh, absolutely. And then they're also WWE is also working, I guess, with New Japan now.
Oh wow.
So some of the people from over there are supposed to be coming over. I don't know exactly when that's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. I would love to see some of these bigger stars in these smaller companies get the shine that they deserve and that they want. You know what I mean?
Mhm. And
So
then, Jade Cargill, like we were talking, even my wife was like, man, this lady is like a majestic, like a unicorn up there. Like she's just like she looks flawless. You know what I mean? Like her appearance, she's a beautiful lady. She's ridiculous fit.
yeah, she
Yeah,
looks like $1,000,000, like
does.
ripped to she's jacked. It's crazy. And
When
give her a little bit. I want
they
to say give her maybe another 6 8 months so she can get a little bit more experience under her belt, and she's going to be a problem.
Yeah. Well, and they,
So,
they gave us the tease that everybody kind of wants, or at least I felt like everybody wants, which was her standing in the center of the ring with Bianca Belair, because they're both
oh
that body type, like the
yeah,
perfect fit against each other.
and Bianca can work. Like she is. I personally kind of liked her a little bit more when she was a heel
Yeah.
because she doesn't use the hair whip anymore,
Yeah.
which kind of impressed me because she's a babyface now. But I used to like that where she used to crack it like a whip and leave marks. But yeah, like I can definitely see these two going at it in the future. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like the future for the women's wrestling on this stage is bright. They got some people coming up in NXT from what I can see. They have a roster full of stars, not just female wrestlers, but actually legit stars, and they're pushing them to the moon. Like it's like their top person in all of the company is a female wrestler, and nobody would have saw in Rhea Ripley. Nobody would have saw that coming.
Yeah.
If you would have asked somebody this 5 years ago, they would have said no, absolutely not.
Right. I Rhea Ripley has been such an awesome figure, and she just like perfect. And I get so tired of people comparing her to China because she's not China. She
No,
is big, she is dominant, she could wrestle with the guys. But when you go back and you listen to the wrestlers, all of them hated being against China back in the day. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not no disrespect to her, RIP and all that, but it wasn't like she was a phenomenal wrestler where Rhea Ripley is a good wrestler.
I mean, China was in a category by herself because she was massive. Like she was huge. But she was more of an attraction than she was a wrestler,
Right.
opposed to what Rhea Ripley is. Rhea Ripley can work her ass off. Excuse my language, but she can really go. And what doesn't help WWE is a lot of their female talent is on the smaller side.
Right. Like Alexa,
So she,
guys,
yeah,
right?
so she looks bigger than a lot of people because of that reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then when she goes, up against, let's say, Charlotte Flair, who's 6 foot tall, it kind of evens out. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Well, and
So,
I think that what people don't understand about her, she has that kind of a like goth look to her, but she's actually like a legit like model looking chick,
oh,
in her
100%,
she's
hundred
beautiful.
percent.
If I had a hall pass person, like let's do this right now. Your old lady threw out a hall pass to you, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna choose at least one or two wrestling chicks. It'll never happen, but if it did, who would they be for you? And then I'll tell you
Oh,
more.
mine is the Samoan powerhouse Nia Jax. That's my hall pass.
Yeah.
I ended up getting to meet her back in July,
Yeah.
and I fanboyed out to the point where I was sweating through my deodorant. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was it was interesting to say the least.
Man, mine would either be Charlotte Flair or Rhea Ripley. Like I just man, I've seen Charlotte wrestle live and she's fantastic. She's just like a foot. It's not even the Flair thing. It's just she has something about her. Even if she wasn't a Flair, it would be
Yeah,
like, oh yeah, this chick is something like a spectacle, right?
yeah, she's probably the most fluent in the ring I've seen in quite some time coming from a women's wrestler. You know what I mean? A lot of times it's I hate to say it and I hate to put it down like this, but a lot of times it's herky jerky with the women wise where they're trying to do spots. And this goes for the men too. I've seen this where they want to do something, but they don't know how to go from one section to another. So they'll start it and then stop and then figure out what they're doing, and then it just kind of looks awkward.
Yeah.
I've seen it on the indie side. I've seen it on the professional side. It's just it looks awkward. But Charlotte is one of the few that is just so fluid in the ring, no matter what she does. She probably has what's that move she does with the shooting star press. It's
Hmm.
probably one of the most beautiful ones I've ever seen. I don't know if it's just because she's really lanky and it just looks fantastic, but it's up there. So
She's so graceful with it, Like I think it's just her the way she sells it and everything, right? Like she's just got the perfect body type. And the cool thing about wrestling now is we can talk about these girls. I mean, granted, we're doing it in a mildly sexual manner because we're talking about hall passes. But that being said, talking about the wrestling, it's not sexual at all. Like it's
no,
just enjoyable to watch them now.
yeah, yeah.
But
Like just the storyline alone, they don't. They used to be where it was very by the script, and now it's just it gets kind of catty at sometimes. Like was it Becky Lynch had a promo where she called she went after another person, called her a female dog, and wolf wolf. Just I was dying. I'm like, this is great. I like this.
Oh man. Well, let's talk about that let's talk about that ending though. I will
Okay.
disagree with well, I get why they did it, but
Uh,
okay, I'm okay with Bailey, but I just didn't see Bailey winning at all on this one. I mean, she hid over like she would, she did the
yeah.
thing and she was smart and she ended up winning, but I just personally I was hoping, I was hoping for other people. I was
I mean,
many
I
others.
mean, who else was like at that point of the match? Because, like I said, Nia got eliminated. Rhea wasn't in it. Sasha Banks isn't there. Not Naomi was early in the match and she was eliminated early. I
Mhm.
mean, like she was the most logical one because
Right.
like I guess out of the four women horsemen or four horsewomen, I guess you want to call it, she was the only one that I don't think held a title yet or held the heavyweight title. I
Okay.
might be wrong about that, so please don't fact check me on that. But it she needed this like because they were setting up some sort of storyline already with the whole her whole little faction, and now this is just putting another little cut into it, which actually helps because if she goes after the champion that's in her faction, then that was it. I forget her name off the top of my head. Then yeah, it's gonna be interesting, like to see where her loyalties lie and whatnot. So
Yeah. Well, they're definitely pushing damage control, right? So
that's what it was. I could not remember their name to save my life.
that's right. But they're all kind of like they're building this stable, right? So they're
Yeah,
building like everybody's got a belt, all this stuff's going down. So it's an interesting story. I get what they did it. I just usually I don't get disappointed. I was just kind of like meh for whatever reason about Bailey winning. But I mean it was still a great match.
yeah, because like Bailey as a babyface, she got over crazy.
Yeah.
which was great. My daughter actually, that was her favorite wrestler, was like WWE wrestler, because she was a hugger, and that's what my daughter was at the time, and so she loved it. Her turn as a heel has been really well.
It
Like
was
she's like
epic. When she
snarky.
finally did it, when she
Yeah,
finally turned, it was epic. It was like, oh, here's this girl that everyone loves. She's all about
exactly.
hugging and smiling. And
Yeah.
she's just like, shut up, like I don't want to hear.
Yeah. She turned it when that heel turn against Sasha Banks or Monet. I forget her name. Mercedes Monet. Um, yeah, it was crazy. I wish they would have did a little bit more with that angle when she first turned heel, but they kind of dropped the ball on that, which kind of stinks. But
Yeah.
absolutely, I like Bailey as a heel. I like her as a baby face. It works either way for me. So, like, I can see why they did it. Like, she puts in really good matches. So I
Right.
understand why they went with her as a winner. So
Well, let's move on to that fatal four way then. Yeah, okay. So then we move so then we move on to the well, we'll call it the frightful four way because it
yeah,
really it was a lame match overall. Everybody kind
very
of
much so.
hits a few things here and there, got their moves in, but
Yeah.
it think about the big matches that we saw as kid,
Mhm.
like the three-way matches, all that stuff with all the epic people. This did not live up to any hype whatsoever.
I mean, like, it was it was a no disqualification match,
Yeah.
which, as Jim Cornette would say, lazy booking.
Yep.
Um, and like, if that's the case, well, why didn't they start out with weapons at the very beginning? Why is it trying to be a regular street fight? And then we forgot it's a no DQ match. Let's go get a chair. Let's go bring other people in.
Yep.
I'm like, to be honest with you, I'm really getting tired as Roman Reigns as a champion, because he's never on TV. He never wrestles. You see him once every 3 months. I'm like, like, was it the following night on Raw? Seth Rollins said, "Oh yeah, I'm the working champion. He's the face, but I'm the working champion."
Yeah.
And I completely understand where he's coming from, and I get it, 100%. I get it. You know,
Well, and yeah, it does suck. It's like, and then they're breaking all these records now, but they're not wrestling all the time. Think about the workhorses from back in the day, like Flair and all these people. They were working all year round. They were working multiple matches and nights and weekends,
yep,
killing themselves, and Roman's showing up how often? I mean, we're probably preaching to the choir here. This we're both I think I'm sick now of the bloodline storyline and all of that. Like I just want them to get to the part where they all turn on each other and it's over with, don't you?
yeah, and like, it's like I said, he's never on TV, he never wrestles, and when he does, it's usually some sort of DQ match. He's been wrestling like this for 3 years,
Right.
where if there's not anybody if somebody doesn't get involved, he doesn't win. It just that's what it breaks down to,
Yeah.
and it's not a good look on their part, because they just got Randy Orton back, who he got the pop for coming back. He got the pop for being a superstar when he came out. Then you have LA Knight, who got himself over
Yeah.
after being in that horrible male modeling group, and you have a superstar that everybody wants to be a champion, and they're not going to give it to him. And then you got AJ Styles, who is just kind of there. He's
Right.
not with his little clique anymore, the club, and he's just there. And like, I understand it. Like, AJ Styles is a phenomenal worker. I love the stuff in New Japan with the Bullet Club, and even in TNA when he was with the Hardcore division, the X division, that was fantastic. I love that, but it's just he hasn't really clicked with this particular crowd, like, getting over as much as he did. But like I said, you got this red hot star in LA Knight, and you're not doing anything with it. You're making him lose,
Doesn't
and
make
like,
any sense. He could almost be honestly a modern day Stone Cold if they
no,
looked at it like that. I
yeah,
honestly,
yeah, he is this version of the Rock.
well, yeah, The Rock for sure. Um, But you know what I'm saying? Like he could just be a badass character that just
Oh yeah,
but they just don't book him like that. And it's like, thank God, I hope that I don't want to crap on Vince McMahon. I don't really even want to talk about the allegation.
Yeah,
Unintended. No, I don't want to
we're
be
gonna
crap
stay
on,
away from that one. All right.
but that being said, I'm hope that the new regime, it seems like they're making big moves and big
Oh
changes.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
think it's exciting, man.
yeah. Triple H knows how to book a show, and he knows how to push the right people.
Yeah.
Um, I just don't know what they're doing with LA Knight. Like they're like I said, he got himself over. He's probably their number one male superstar right now, where everybody's doing the LA Knight, yeah, and you just hear yeah constantly everywhere, outside of the wrestling events. But they just don't know what like. I don't know where they're gonna go with this. Like, okay, so now you got it's just going into WrestleMania. I just don't know exactly how they're going to do this with him because like he just lost in a title match. He's lost in a couple title matches now. So what's next for him? What is he going to go after a lower belt, which
Yeah.
I can understand, but I mean, what go after the Intercontinental one? I mean that you got Gunther. Gunther is the top dog right there,
Yeah.
and I can understand why he could become a world champion, but I don't see what they're doing with him.
Right. Yeah, it's really crazy. Like I'm not even sure how they're gonna book him at this point. And then, AJ Styles, it's like it's as strange as it is when he did that dramatic movie match with the Undertaker. It's almost like the Undertaker buried him like for good.
Yeah,
Like nothing good has happened since then for AJ Styles. I love AJ.
no, and I understand he got hurt, so he was off TV for a while.
Yeah.
But it just he doesn't look intimidating opposed to the other folks that were in the ring with him, who are like a foot taller than him. Because AJ Styles is on the shorter side, so he doesn't look like one of the stereotypical superstars that are in the WWE or any other place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you had that, and like it's just there were certain spots in there like which I personally did not care about this match. I'm like, I don't really care who wins or loses because
Right.
I know who's gonna win. I don't because the way that they set it up is it's gonna be it, it, they're pushing certain people for WrestleMania, so
Mhm.
you kind of have an idea of who's gonna win at Royal Rumble. And I'm like, I don't want to see this.
Well, and I'm going to let you in on a little secret now, a little tidbit of why I hated the match truly and why I hate Roman Reigns. I'm going to break this to the world. This is why because this is my wife's hall pass.
Uh,
Roman Reigns, every time he gets up there, she's just like beside herself. She starts sweating, You could see her kind of like sitting a certain way, like maybe like becoming like a moistened towelette. And it's just like, but I don't look anything like like Roman Reigns. So what does that say about me? I'm just like the loser schlub that she's with. I'm El Podcastico. Like, how could you not want to be with me? I mean, I'll cut a match with Roman Reigns and he'll probably kill me in 5 seconds. But like,
Probably would.
I don't even think I can run across the ring without dying, Chris. I mean,
Oh,
Gustaf.
that's hilarious. Like next time you guys watch wrestling, you're gonna have to bring out the hose just for that reason alone.
It's so crazy, dude. That and she's big into Damian Priest too. So it's like she has like a type, and it's not me.
Yeah, Damian Priest is a good guy. I've actually known him for a while.
Really?
He came out of the Monster Factory not too far from here,
Yeah.
and when I first met him, he was like my size, but he was also like 350 pounds. He was huge. Um, just yeah, but Damian's a good guy. I like Damian. I like him in the Judgment Day. Uh, but I can understand what kind of type your wife likes. So you might want to watch out there, but
Feel like tall, like in good shape, tattoos, got the beautiful hair. Like they got everything that I don't.
well, you got to start working on that, man. You got to you got to do something.
I gotta do something to keep her around, man. Uh,
Exactly.
the only thing, I don't want to. I actually do really like Damian Priest, and I think he's going to be a great superstar for a long time. But I
Absolutely.
hated the shirt that they put him in for a Royal Rumble. It looked like a girl's shirt. It was
Oh, Oh, with the netting looking triangle thing. Yeah, yeah. That. But he always tries to push those, I guess, boundaries. I never thought we would be talking about wrestlers' gear like this, but okay.
Hey,
But
gotta put on it.
yeah, he always comes out with something outrageous. Some stuff works and some stuff doesn't. You know?
So if you and I were to start an unbelievable tag team like we wanted to do years ago, okay, what would your ring gear be at this point? You know, like, and I want the truth.
um, it would probably be combat boots,
Okay.
some like dark green pants,
Oh yeah.
and I'd probably have some sort of wife beater on. To be
Yes.
honest with you, yeah, a dark one,
Yeah.
almost kind of looking like Braun Strowman a little bit, but
Yeah.
not
Absolutely. Yeah. I can
like
see.
I have. If I was to ever, I'm in my early 40s, so it's kind of past. But if I was to ever become a wrestler, I have a whole persona, whole
Right.
gimmick. I've actually thought about this more than once, which is kind of scary. And like I ran it by my daughter, and she just thinks I'm absolutely insane.
What would your finisher be? Did we talk about this before? Oh, even if we did, let's rehash it. If you had a
Yeah, back in the day, it was kind of like a chokehold type thing, and I'd
uh,
probably go back to something like that. It's like something that nobody ever uses anymore. You know
yeah.
what I mean? So,
I would do like the I don't even know what it's called, I guess. It'd be like the power bomb, but it's like the power bomb where you like jump and like come down with them a little bit, or at least that's how
oh,
I envision it, you know.
that's a sit down power bomb.
Okay. Well, yeah, that would make sense, right? Because you're sitting down and doing the power bomb as you
Yeah,
finish.
yeah.
I envision like when I have dreams that I'm wrestling and stuff, and it's so crazy that I do. I have these dreams that I do that move as a finisher. So it's like it has to be destiny, right?
Actually, you know what? I take it back. I want to bring back the heart punch.
Yes, the heart punch.
Yeah, the heart punch that nobody ever knows about. Nobody's ever seen in the last 27 years. That would be my finish.
Not since Mean Mark, right? Mean Mark
Yeah,
was
yeah, I think so.
Mean Mark, then later the Undertaker. But
Yeah, yeah.
I bet people don't know that. I'll bet these kids watching wrestling these days, they're like, who the heck is Mean Mark? And what are you
Oh
talking?
no, see, they know who he is nowadays. Just
Yeah,
because the Undertaker has just been so, I guess, iconic lately. Like they've been doing all these backgrounds on him, so everybody knows who he was in previous organizations. So
yeah. Well, it's not like I guess it's not like certain things like football, baseball, and all that. Like a lot of those guys kind of like yes, there's a lot of like documentaries and things that they kind of like fall through the cracks, but wrestling is pretty well covered, right? When it comes to
yeah, yeah, between the magazines and the videos, and now everything's streaming online. Everybody has a documentary, all
yeah.
that jazz. So
So what would our tag team faction be? Like let's come up with something here. Let's get something going. Come on.
um
I'll put you on the
I
spot.
because I don't know what your persona would be like unless you're gonna go with that
I'm
what you're rocking now.
Yep, El
Which
Podcastico.
God, I have no idea. Like foreign exchange, I don't know. I
I
mean,
would definitely carry a tennis racket like Cornette did, like for no reason at all.
dude, you are so just like so random. Like just right, I can see you coming out in some Zubaz pants and
Yeah.
like yeah, you're so random, so
We
random.
were gonna be Earthquake and Tugboat at one time, man.
Oh yeah, yeah,
We were gonna
yeah. I think we should do Akeem and the Big Boss Man.
do it. That would be great.
As long as I get to be Akeem, I don't care.
I would love to be the big boss man, but now when I look back at the big boss man, he's very offensive, like
Oh yeah.
no, I love him, but I'm saying like for these woke
But,
kids out here, they look at him and
oh,
go, gosh,
you're saying that Akeem the African Dream wasn't offensive? Is that what you're telling me? A big 6'8" white guy walking around in a yellow dashiki isn't offensive?
yeah, you're right. The whole
I
group,
mean,
the two are offensive in general. Oh man, we'd have to set
that
up a couple squash matches, like where we would be the ones getting squashed by real
yeah,
wrestlers, or
yeah,
we
constantly,
some kid that we found,
constantly.
Well, let's usually what I do, and you know this because you are the man, the myth, the legend, the guy behind my most legendary sponsorship. Usually I would just run the commercial and everything here, but right now, what I want you to do, if you could, let's cut a little promo on what you got going on right now. So what do you have going on with the company? What do you got for product?
Listen up, brother. No, I'm not going to do that. No, right now until February 14th on my Etsy shop, we are running 30% off of everything, including the boxes, the balms, the butters, the oils. Everything is 30% off. Um, yeah, so check that out. I haven't really updated my Mercari page lately because I've just been kind of lazy and busy. But yeah, so 30% off everything till from now until February 14th. So Valentine's Day. So if you ladies out there that listen, or your men, or folks out there that don't know what to get your significant other for Valentine's Day, perfect gift, especially if you have a beard like mine, which is turning more and more gray as we speak. But yeah, definitely check me out. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, like the commercials say. I'm on Etsy. Just look up the Elegant Sasquatch Grooming Company. I'll pop up on Google. If you have any questions, shoot me a message on Instagram, on Facebook. I'll get back to you right away, and then we can go from there. So
There you go, the Elegant Sasquatch, everybody. They've been a wonderful sponsor. We've gotten a lot of good feedback on our ridiculous commercials that we make, and
yeah,
it's
we got some new ones coming out soon. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. More absurdities coming out.
well. Thank you so
So
much for being a friend all these years, and being a sponsor of the show, man. I really do appreciate it.
no, thank you, Cain. I appreciate it, man.
Well, let's move on now to that other match. That match between Kevin Owens, KO himself, and oh, boo everybody! Get out the boo birds for Logan Paul. What'd you think of
You
it?
know what? I don't have a problem with Logan Paul. For a
Okay,
celebrity who's a wrestler, he does a fantastic job. Like
I agree.
he I can see him becoming a wrestler without a problem and getting over because he got himself over. Everybody hates him. He's a great heel. 100% that. I like I said, almost every match that Logan Paul has been in, I've actually liked. I've been surprised by.
Yeah,
Outside of that Royal Rumble last year, I thought he just that spot with him and Ricochet was just stupid, but that's besides the point. Um, but this one, they were building it up for a while. They had a little bit of backstory to it, but it just kind of fell on its face.
yeah.
Like they were going. He was going after Kevin Owens' hand, and which great old school
And
tactic. I get that. It just did not hit. I don't know what it was.
well, you're absolutely right. He is a phenomenal performer for a guy who didn't come up in the business. I mean,
Mhm.
like he looks great in the ring. He's doing legit moves. I mean, like he's fun to watch. He's getting people fired up, which he should. He's getting better and better. I hope that they drop the championship off of him very soon.
Yeah,
But I
and
think
see,
to push with him.
I was gonna say what kind of killed this is it was a 20-minute period from the females Royal Rumble to that four-way match.
Mhm.
There was a 20-minute spot where they were just running like the backstory and whatnot, and then there was a 15-minute break between that four-way match and this match. So that first Rumble was an hour and a half. So
Yeah.
by this time, you are almost 3 hours into this pay per view, or you're like what 2 hours into this pay per view. You're
Yeah.
gonna lose a lot of steam by this time. I mean,
For sure.
that kind of did it. I'm like I said, I fast forwarded because I just really didn't care that much.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I saw the highlights. It looked like the highlights were good, but everything else, I was just like, eh. So,
What do they do? I've never been to a real pay-per-view for I've been
uh,
I've been to live shows. What do they do when that's happening? Do they just show you the same stuff they're showing on for that?
it depends, like on like a house show, if they're running those clips.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll have a really quick match. I know if they have a wrestler come out and then they run that, the wrestler will just stand in the ring looking kind of foolish.
Right.
A lot of times, if they're running that video package, in the ring, they don't really do much that I know of. I mean, um, yeah, so they're just basically run it on their on the jumbotron, so everybody in the arena can see it. It's kind of almost like a intermission type of thing now. So,
Right.
but
Well,
it makes it hard to get up and down when you have that much time in between each match. You know.
where do you think they're going to take the pay-per-views? I mean, Peacock has it for a while still. Like we're not through with Peacock yet, but when that eventually runs out, do you think they're going to go back to the buy model? I hope not.
Like the only people that can do it anymore is UFC, and that's just because they don't have a really big streaming service.
Mhm.
Boxing can't even pull pay-per-view numbers anymore because all their stuff's on HBO and whatnot. But I mean, every once in a while you get the really big fight that's on pay-per-view, but I don't see that model coming back. Plus everybody is starting to get rid of cable. So going with the pay-per-view, wouldn't you have to sign up for cable to get that package in?
Right.
So it's just I don't see them going back to the old model of buying pay-per-views. So
Are you excited about it going to Netflix? It doesn't. I'm good with it. Everybody already has Netflix anyway, or most people. So I'm good with it. But I don't know. Will it just raise our bill?
yeah, that's one of two things I'm worried about. I'm like, how much more are they going to start charging for this? Because it's what 5 billion or 10 billion over like 5 years. So that's going to have to raise somebody's rates.
Yeah.
Um, Number two, are they going to run it live or is it going to be like taped and then they're going to air it later? That's another issue. A question I have.
I think
Um,
dive into live so that they can kind of squash Hulu on some of
yeah.
the live stuff. That's my personal opinion.
And then once that gets going, what's going to go on with the WWE network itself? Like, I know I understand Peacock has it up and going, but are they taking that over? Because how are they? Are you going to be able to watch a rebroadcast on Netflix later on? Like,
Right.
because right now, up until just recently, I was watching a lot of times because since I don't have cable, I would have to watch it either on like one of the streaming platforms, TikTok, Instagram, or I would go on if I remember go watch it like 2 days later on Hulu when they would run the replay. So
Yeah.
how is that going to go on? You know what I mean?
Well, and I hope they don't take the thing that I worry about the most. It's such a ridiculous worry, but I love going back and watching Monday Night Raw from years ago, Monday Nitro, all that stuff, ECW, all I if they take that away, I'm gonna be sad.
Yeah, I know they got rid of the WWE network in Europe
Mhm.
just recently. Like that went away, so that's no longer there. So I don't know what's going to go on with that. But
Yeah.
it's a absurd, and this is just it is what $5 or $10 billion for just Monday Night Raw,
Yeah.
and I know SmackDown just signed with another company, and like CW just signed NXT, and like it was what was the number? It was close. I think it was close to $10 billion just for the rights for that. But then you look across the stage for AEW, and they can't pull $100,000 for anything.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's interesting. We'll see how it goes, right? I mean, that's all we can do. It's not like we have any control over it. The only control we have over it is are we going to pay for it or are we not? Whatever service they put it on. So hopefully they
yep,
fans. WWE though is on a trajectory that's high. I mean, you and I talked about that. There were some years ago where you and I, as massive wrestling fans, didn't watch it, didn't even tune in because it was in our head, it wasn't even entertainment anymore. And then we
yeah,
came back to it, didn't we?
yeah. It's what was it? The '80s was the golden age. Attitude Era was like the Bronze Age. I don't know the Diamond Age. I don't know what to call this one, but yeah, it's gotten a really good, strong footing now. And I'm gonna love to see what they're gonna do in the next 5 to 10 years, where they take it. Um, like some of the newer pay-per-views that they brought out, I'm digging it. It's fine. I'm okay with it.
Well, I was when it came out initially, I was really high on AEW. Like I
Mhm.
and I wanted it to be WCW. I felt like the matches were great at first, but then I just like when I started tuning out once I realized, oh wait, they're not doing any good storylines, or nothing makes sense. Like they just throw people into matches from like dark against like bigger stars, and it's just like it's completely discombobulated, and I can't get into it at all, and that's sad, man, because I like people on there.
Yeah, yeah. Like when me and you both, we were digging when AEW first came out. Like that first 2 year run, they
Yeah,
had everybody, and then it just fell apart. The inmates were running the asylum, still is. Tony Khan's a joke of a promoter.
yeah,
He's more of a fanboy than he is the actual promoter or booker at all. Um, like most of their talent wants out. You already lost CM Punk, you lost Cody Rhodes. They've become even bigger stars in WWE than what you had them as. You have the Young Bucks that nobody cares about. Kenny Omega's on looks like he's on his deathbed or whatever's going on with his gut, and even then nobody was really caring about him.
yeah,
Everything in AEW is the same thing over and over again, and it's last time we talked, it's the whole I'm going to hit you in the head with a chair very first match. I'm going to do it 17 times in a row.
yeah.
And it's just like it's move after move with no storytelling. And I don't know why anybody watches it. It's an absolute joke.
It is. It's such a in there. It's like it's botch city, which I couldn't do any of those moves, but it's a lot of people falling around and doing that stuff, and it's just ugly to watch. It's like Kenny Omega, for example. I used to like watching Kenny Omega. I mean, he had energy, but then I'll tell you what ruined it for me is I was listening to Cornette. I love Cornette's show. He's still the king in my head, and he would call him Kenny Olivier all the time.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
was like
yeah,
after that, I couldn't look at him the same. Like I couldn't even watch
yeah.
a single match after Cornette cut it like that.
And like when I'm a big Danhausen guy. I like that whole gimmick, but they've run that down to the ground. They've run Orange Cassidy into the ground where I don't care about him or
Yeah.
what Cornette would call him pockets. But yeah, like Jericho is off, and they're not talking about him anymore. It's just they had a bunch of people that if they were booked right, it'd been a fantastic show.
Yeah.
But you have superhuman people that just don't do anything anymore. So,
Yeah. Well,
so
let's not even waste our time on that trash TV. We're just it's no good anymore. I mean, it was the first couple years they were building some traction, and then it got boring after that. So let's talk about what really matters, which is that big men's Royal Rumble match. What'd you think?
absolutely. The first two competitors were the Usos. That had me dying when they were trading blows and everybody was yelling out "Yeet, no yeet." I was laughing my head off about that. I thought that was hilarious.
That was
Um,
yes.
yeah, we're like me and the guest that we were supposed to have on today. We were actually in a group chat about wrestling, and we normally pick our particular people that we think we're going to win it. And
Right.
last year I picked Gunther, and nobody else is going to pick him. He almost won it last year. I picked him again this year, and he didn't do as well, but he still did a really strong showing. Overall, it was a decent match.
Yeah.
Um, I really wish somebody else would have won because I'm
Yeah.
kind of, you can only tell Cody's story so many times. Now, hey, look, we got another, what, 2 or 3 more months till WrestleMania. Now it's sign point in the season, you know what I mean?
Well,
Um,
I hated last year when they put him in as like the last participant, and
yeah,
then he won. Like that was like the guy the man of the myth was
yeah,
Gunther making it
yeah,
from the beginning to end, and then getting it's just like, and then they
yeah.
just give it to Cody. So this year they give it to Cody. What do you think of the work where they're trying to? I know it's a work in my head, but the CM Punk thing where he got injured from Drew McIntyre. Do you think it's real?
Actually, yeah, like he legitimately tore his triceps like off. He's out 6 months.
Oh,
He's
he is
missing the game.
legit. It's not
He's
a work.
legit hurt. Yeah,
Uh,
he tore his triceps right off the bone or the connective tissue off the bone. So he's out 6 months.
well, he definitely
Which
played
kind of sucks.
hard outside. Like when they panned over to him and you could see the disappointment on his face, I was
Yeah,
like, either he is giving him fantastic acting job of being bummed because he lost the Royal Rumble, or he's counting all that money that he's going to lose because he can't wrestle for a while, you know?
I think he was more disappointed that he got hurt
Yeah.
because I have a feeling, to be honest with you, I have a feeling he was supposed to actually win it.
I think
But
so too. I truly do.
like, I have a feeling he was supposed to win it, um, and then with like I saw a video online where he was telling the refs on ringside that he hurt his arm. It was his tricep,
Yeah.
and so that But there are some people in there that looked really, really good. Like Braun Breaker looked fantastic.
Yeah.
Um, and apparently that was supposed to be the Brock Lesnar spot.
Like in entirety, right? Like they're saying like he basically did the full spot in entirety.
Yeah, everything that Braun Breaker did, Brock was supposed to be doing everything he did.
Yeah.
But you know what? It works better. Like Brock would have. Brock is a planet to himself. I mean, so whatever you put him in, he's gonna succeed, and people are gonna watch. But you have Braun. Braun is coming up. Like he
Yeah.
reminds me of his uncle Scott. A lot, and like a young Scott back in the early WCW, where he used to do the flips before he became all jacked. Yeah, that's what he reminds me of. But yeah, he looked fantastic. Um, like that little spot that he did with almost was all right. Like I understand it, but I just can't stand almost or whatever his name is.
I think that's the
But
best he actually looked almost was what you know what I mean? Like I don't know for some reason he was palatable to me this time. Like he
yeah,
was massive, he played the part. He was
yeah,
he wasn't like the great Khali type thing, you know, like he can move a little bit or
yeah,
whatever, but it was palatable. But man, that guy's gonna be a champ someday. I feel like
yeah,
they're gonna push him like Rhea eventually where he's gonna go straight to the top. He is that guy.
yeah. You know what? Even that little tag team that he was doing with Corbin just recently in NXT, that had me dying. Like they cut a promo, and Corbin was like, "I have no idea what the hell you're talking about, and you don't ever say what you're saying." Like I was on the floor.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see Braun really going at it, like for future title spots, and maybe like 6 months or a year. They're
Yeah.
gonna call him up like soon, probably right after Mania, if not before Mania. He's getting the call up because he can't really do any more in NXT. He's already done everything.
Right.
So I can see that. I was happy with Gunther's performance. Um, he was strong. I can see Gunther going after one of the titles and being a fantastic world champion because he plays that heel part perfectly. He has the look. It's really good. I was kind of disappointed that they didn't really do a Kofi spot like they normally do.
Right.
I was kind of waiting. I was kind of waiting for it. It never happened.
Yeah.
They haven't done one of those in a couple of years, which is kind of disappointing. But
I don't know if they felt like it was wore out or what. But we're all waiting for it now. We all
yeah,
want
yeah. And then we get disappointed when we don't see it.
to. I was disappointed.
It's kind of like why it's kind of like going to see Alabama and them not singing Sweet Home or Leonard Skinner not singing Sweet Home Alabama.
Exactly. They're
So,
not playing the hits
yeah,
like we want. Um,
exactly.
but the thing is I was disappointed. I was hoping for more like they usually have some like I'm not saying celebrity guests, but like past people come in or they didn't have a lot of that, but maybe it's because they're trying to make a bigger push for the people they have. But I was really hoping for somebody from the past
I
that
mean,
something
I
cool.
mean, they did have Pat McAfee come out from the announcing table, which was kind of cool, but he
Yeah,
didn't do anything.
right.
Um, but yeah, like they have so many people on the roster, it wouldn't have made sense outside of having The Rock come in. And
Wow.
if The Rock would have made the Rumble, he would have won it.
Yeah.
So they couldn't really do that. So,
And what
but
if
no, they did.
did, man? What if he came in at like the 25 spot and the place goes completely? I mean, I would have ripped my living room apart if that had happened. Like that would have
Yeah.
been so wild. That's like fantasy booking there. And then he wins it. He goes on to beat Roman for the championship. Like he takes over
I'm
head.
real. I really hope he doesn't because it's not The Rock anymore. It's Dwayne Johnson playing The Rock.
Yeah.
It's not this like he can't turn his head. I mean I don't like that. Like if you're gonna I understand part time wrestlers. I get that. It's a whole part of the building. You're you're a spectacle. I get that, but it's when you are almost what 55,
Right.
50, and you're still trying to do what stuff you were doing in your 20s, and it's just not working.
I
Like,
would say Cena pulls off what he's doing pretty good, but he still moves around good in the ring.
yeah,
Cena's still fun to watch, and he's a part timer. But like, look at that picture of The Rock behind you for a second. Just glance back at it. I'm looking at it right now.
yeah.
Okay, that's not the same guy as who
No, no,
you
no.
see now. I mean, he is a massive. I'm not going to say steroid bound because I don't know what he's up, but he is just beast. But you're right, like he can't even turn his neck or do all the same stuff that he used to be able to do.
I mean, mind you, he's still kind of good on the mic, but he's trying to get over the stuff that was getting over in the like late '90s, early 2000s, and it gets old real quick. He has to come up with something new, and he's just not doing it. Like I said, I'm not really looking forward because the way that they want to book it is Rock and Roman at Mania, and I don't want to see it. I don't care
Yeah.
because it's going to be a bad match. I get it. They're both Samoan. I understand it. Both come from the same bloodline. I get that, but it's just so if they have that match, where do they go after the match? So does he come back and start doing this full time, or is he going to go back to being a movie star?
Well, that's why it's not going to happen because he's not going to have the time to be the champion
Yeah.
for a long period. And if he took the belt off of him, that would be ridiculous. Because what then? Do they have a rematch and Roman wins it back, and then we have to sit through, 5 more years of Roman
or
Reigns?
or the Rock wins it, and then within 3 months he loses it to somebody else, and at that point you just ruined 4 or 5 years of storyline that you've been working on. You know?
Yeah. There were some points in the match. Grayson Wall, is that his name? When they
Yeah,
put him in, I wanted to throw up. I was like, this is a throwaway. This is the equivalent of having a tomato can come in the ring, and they beat the crap
yeah,
out back in the days. Like it was pointless.
yeah. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen somebody try to cut a promo or walking down to the ring in a Royal Rumble, and it
Yeah.
made no sense. Like I don't. I don't see what the appeal is for him. Like he's not getting over on the main roster. I don't know. Like I'm not a big NXT guy, so I don't know if he got over on NXT. But like they're not doing anything with him. They're trying to put him with Austin Theory, and that's kind of working, but not really. They
Right.
have a decent tag team division, but it's just not get. He's just not getting over. And I don't know how much longer they're going to push that.
Well, I mean, Austin Theory is the perfect person to put him with because he plays the douchey character so
Yeah,
well. Like you
perfect.
instantly hate him as soon as you see him on anything. You're just like, oh, barf! Like I can't stand this
He
guy.
he is this generation's The Miz. You know what
Yes,
I mean? Yeah.
really.
So
Which is who I told you when you asked me who's going to win. I said the Miz. Just
yeah,
I
yeah.
hope it never happened.
Oh, see, you were joking, but then you didn't give me your real answer.
Yeah,
So I just had to take that as your real answer.
that was it. Oh, the Miz. How long do you think the Miz will? I mean, he is a worker. He does go. How long do you
And
think he has in the ring?
I mean, probably another 5 more years
Yeah,
because he's in his late 30s. He's great on the mic.
he,
Like he for what his character is perfect. That matches his personality perfectly. He's that very obnoxious heel, but when he gets fired up, he can cut a hell of a promo. Because you go back and watch that promo he cut on Brian Danielson or Daniel Bryan, excuse me, Daniel Bryan, from 5 years ago,
hmm
and like you just see like how fired up he actually got in real life and how pissed he was, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, for sure.
So
Well, I hope that I know we don't have a lot of time left. I'd like to do some more bonus shows with you. You know what I mean? Like I'd
absolutely.
like to do some more wrestling talk. Really to start leading up to WrestleMania. Maybe we
100%.
can get some wrestling guests. I know that you have some friends at the Monster Factory.
Yeah, me and you are working on some stuff. We have two people lined up for right now, maybe three, depending on. We're working on some stuff. So absolutely, we're going to do some more bonus content. and then we're gonna go from there. We got some exciting stuff coming up. Some really cool guests that I've known for a while that your fan base are really gonna like, and we're gonna go from there.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, thank you so much for doing this. I think this is a great, we got to talk Royal Rumble. We got to talk, how we feel about things currently right now. But I think we covered it pretty good, and I can't wait
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
conversation.
Yeah, we need to do this more often. Have like a secondary podcast or something.
We absolutely do, man. I can't wait. I'm gonna be glad to have you on the show more. Just talking to me. I've got a lot to talk about, obviously, as you can tell by now.
You and me both, brother. You and me both.
Well, thanks a lot for doing this, man. I know you're a busy guy. Go make those sweet beard balms and get those nasty smelling dudes smelling like gold, bro.
Hey, just remember 30% off everything on my Etsy shop until February 14th, Valentine's Day. So come get your stuff. Hit me up on Instagram, hit me up on Facebook. You guys know, you guys hear the commercial every week. The very absurd commercials that me and Cain come up with. But yeah, absolutely. Hit me up if you have any questions. I'll make some sort of deal with you guys. If you guys have any questions about how to grow beards, what I can point you in really good directions. So
Absolutely. Well, thank you for being on the show. I would love to stick around, but I've got some more championships to win as El Podcastico. So
hi, Captain.
I'm gonna go challenge the next kid I see out in the yard as soon as I get off of here. So
You're gonna lose there, bud.
all right, man.
All right, man.
See you.
Take it easy.
Super Show. It's the Cain Stevens Super Show.
Scenic Lincoln, Nebraska. Here is your host, Cain Stevens.